Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. In today's video, guys, this is the most bullish I've been in a long time. NVIDIA up to 183. SoFi, although being down 3% after essentially diluting investors by 7 to 8%, which, by the way, has already happened. This is an incredible, performance from the markets. Being only down 2% essentially means that they're up a little bit today if you're taking away outstanding shares. Now, it hurts investors right now in terms of their total ownership of the company, but we don't know what they're going to do with this money. So until we have some answers, we'll just have to wait and see. Robinhood ended up doing earnings today. Unbelievable. I had the opportunity to put in a question into their earnings, and boy, did I drop the ball. I didn't end up entering the proper code to actually put myself into the proper queue. I was in the call, but I wasn't in with my hand raised in the call. So a little bit of a new technology this time than previous quarters, but you live and you learn. Overall, the question that I had wouldn't have really added too much new context for investors. I just simply said that, or I would have said that, Robinhood Gold, it's doing very well right now in the United States. Would you have spread that out into international markets as we start to expand? And what does that look like in a tokenized environment? Now, I'm sure that they would. I'm sure that they would be pretty positive on that. So slight bit of a rhetorical question, but in terms of how they would do that in a tokenized environment, I don't really know how that works. So overall, still would love to see some answers there and how they can not just take $5 away from someone each month. That makes sense. They can do that pretty easily. But what type of offerings would they offer? Would they offer better conversion rates or something like this for tokenized assets? Would they offer margin amounts? Something like, who knows? Who knows? So anyway, I need Hood to get to 80 now, and I'll take a position. Haha. Yeah, right. Good luck to me. So why is 80 the magic mark that you will only take a position there rather than at a price like today, for example? So now I'm not suggesting that anyone go out and purchase this stock if this is not something that you want to hold in your own portfolio. But this was a massive double beat, and impossible to be a triple beat, by the way. They do not show guidance, but it destroyed estimates, came in at 989 million in terms of revenue. I thought I was the most bullish at 941. Compared to compared to almost every single analyst on Wall Street, I was pretty high on that list. And yet we all got sidetracked, and the numbers that they put out were even better than expected. So whenever companies are down on this type of news, SoFi as well, what am I to do other than want to acquire shares? Even being up 2.38% in the after hours right now, leading the company up to 22.39. I think we bought 50 shares last live stream. I was waiting for the Tanner question. I know, man. I know. But I ended up purchasing some social. Let's slow down, Tanner. Holy. I ended up purchasing 50 SoFi shares yesterday. I got a large donation from the great and powerful Dookie Pie, a member in chat. And so threw it towards SoFi, and a bunch of people thought that I was crazy because I did it in the face of this dilutive effort. And yet here we are. We're already up a few dollars. And by the way, the community fund, we are back now because of those 50 shares to having SoFi as the #1 name. And I swear, guys, oh, where's my background? There we go. And I swear I do not want to lose that again. I really think just SoFi in general being the #1 position that we end up holding should be the way that we go forward in this community fund. No more SBET and everything like this, which I do have a position for myself. I do actually think that there will be a recovery in this name. But if SoFi's not #1 in the community fund, what are we up to? That or Nubank or something along these, or sorry, not Nubank, NVIDIA, Or I was going to say, or Nubank for Shopify. But really, NVIDIA could also be up there. Is Moomoo better versus Questrade? I don't really have an opinion versus those two names. I think that Moomoo is really easy to look at, in my opinion, especially in this beta version. So Evan in chat was laughing at me for using this as well. But I just like how easy it is to use. I don't actually have a funded account with Moomoo. Not anymore, at least. But I like the way it looks, and I still think that it's good for my streaming purposes. Okay, I would also use Robinhood Legend or something like that, but I'm not an American. I'm still in Canada. Still, who would believe it? But maybe if Robinhood comes to Canada, which was one of the things that they actually talked about doing, maybe that will push us higher. So I had the chance to listen to Meta's call, or at least the majority of Meta's call online. Absolutely insane. One of the best quarters I've they just continue to pump out unbelievable statistics. CapEx spend was crazy. Now, normally for the people that are looking at a company from a price to free cash flow perspective, that capital expenditures can be a hamper on that statistic. However, whenever you are holding on to both companies of one, the company that is spending a lot in capital expenditure, and two, the company that is benefiting from that spend, in this case, I'm talking specifically about the likes of AMD, NVIDIA, these sort of plays. My version of playing that is NVIDIA. What a lovely statistic seeing, Microsoft saying they are going to spend a crap ton. We're talking 30 plus billion a quarter here. NVIDIA saying, Meta saying that they need to not only increase to they had a 64 to 72 billion dollar capital expenditure range. They just slightly adjusted that by saying 66 to 72. So raise the bottom rung, hiring that average, which was a raise. Okay. And then next year, they said full year 2025, they're also going to increase capital expenditures year over year once again. This is what led NVIDIA to raise to all-time highs. We actually hit 184 in the aftermarket. 184. Guys, this is a 4.3 trillion or $4.4 trillion business, okay? In order to raise up 2+%, nearly 2.5% in the after hours is insane. Okay? I'm so unbelievably bullish on artificial intelligence. Sorry if my audio levels were low. It should be much better now. But I recently had a couple calls with people, and they don't even know that these types of moves are happening with NVIDIA. What these data center plays are doing, they know ChatGPT, they know the LLMs and how they're working, but they don't really know how they're being achieved. The massive computer spend, the humanoid robotics. I was having a conversation with someone and I'm like, wait, you don't know any of this? And that's not to bash the person that I was having a conversation with, but I mean, we're still so early that people don't really know how big these spends are. And until you see projects like, Meta's Prometheus or Hyperion, that you don't really get to see the scale of how big these projects are. Okay. Some people can throw around numbers like 30 billion a quarter, $1 trillion a year in capital expenditure spend for chips and artificial intelligence. But until you actually see what $1 trillion buys you, you don't really give a whole lot of belief into truly the rollout that we're seeing right now. I am unbelievably excited for artificial intelligence. I have no want to sell my NVIDIA. And in fact, I actually have a lot of covered calls out right now for August 1st, 190s for NVIDIA. I didn't worry about them, but whenever NVIDIA started going to 184, tonight, I was like, okay, like enough's enough. We'll have to see, but I think I'll be okay. And then once we're actually this is the beautiful strategy, is that by playing it safe too, I'm not trying to play it close, because people that do have 185s or even 187.5s, I'd be a little bit more worried. But the greatest thing is that once we're at that point, and if I don't have to roll out and I can receive my premium, well, I've already received it, but as long as I can just have it and then my shares don't get called away and I still have my shares, I'm just going to write it all over again, even further out, maybe 205, 200s, going 2 weeks out again, make additional premium on a company that I have even more, market value in, and the cycle continues. When Nvidia gets to 38 trillion, the government should take it over, liquidate, and pay its debts. I sure hope they get a premium. I sure hope. At 38 trillion, guys, the live stream is going to be crazy. I have 187.5 covered calls on Nvidia. Need to roll them probably. Is that for August 1st? Tanner, PayPal sure is getting or tempting, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, probably to some extent, but I'm so focused on artificial intelligence right now. The companies that I'm buying, like Amazon, Google, a little bit of Nubank as well. But honestly, that's shifted more towards Amazon and Google as of late. That I don't know if I would prefer PayPal over those names. Look at the look at the earnings that we just saw on a $3.8 trillion business, and the stock is up 8.4%. Why do you need small caps? And by the way, PayPal's not one of those names. Like, I understand that smaller names can run more, but why do I need to buy a turnaround name? I find that actually comes with more risk than buying the best companies in the world that just do their things efficiently. Once my wealth symbol is at 100K, is CAD to USD free? And what does it look? And it's what it looks like. No, sorry, I was reading that wrong. If you transfer over, I think it's 100K at a time, then it is free in terms of them taking a take on it. I actually think it's 25,000 or more, or 50,000 or more. They don't have a take rate on the money anymore. The conversion, like the difference between Canadian dollars and US dollars, you still have to pay, obviously. But I don't remember what it is, 1.5% or whatever, you don't need to worry about. But as I saw in a couple comments before, Norbit's Gambit is another thing that you can end up doing. And there's specific ETFs that will actually allow you to essentially switch those over. So they're designed in order to help you lower those costs. But not really what I'm here to do. I'm sure that'll be a nice Google search for you, but hopefully I've led you in the right direction. Thank you for the Canadian dollar donation. I'll be sure to convert that over. AMD 185. AMD is at 184.25 right now. It could happen. I'll take Broadcom over PayPal, even if PayPal went to 30. Wow. Okay. What do we have for PayPal right now? 73? I mean, there is a price to pay for everything. I think if there were reasons that brought it down to $30, I might have to question. But yeah. I'm also just keeping an eye on Grab here as well. I don't have any shares, but they will be releasing earnings, I think at 8 is what people said. I'll be sure to check in to make sure that investors are happy or not. But Lisa Su is the GOAT. You think Lisa Su is the greatest of all time? You should meet her cousin. PayPal's at 69. Lisa Su gets AMD to 1 trillion by end of year. I mean, I don't know. That would be That would be quite the lift. Their earnings are out. The call is at 8. I mean, they have not moved an inch on their earnings if they're out. It's absolutely flatlined. But that being said, I'm not a shareholder of this company. Wealthsimple versus Robinhood. Well, one, I can't use Robinhood, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. I would assume Robinhood. The advantages on APYs, the credit cards, all the margin benefits, the cost to buy and sell options are much cheaper than Wealthsimple. So I would probably say Robinhood. Let's see if I can bring up a couple numbers on Grab. Now, remember, guys, I am not a MIT. We don't hold all the same positions. This is not a name that I follow, but let's see here. Yeah, I don't see anything just yet from accounts that I follow that are covering it, but I saw a lot of commentary on Microsoft, CapEx growth. The exact same thing was said about Meta. It's looking good. CapEx expected to exceed $30 billion in Q1, driven by AI and cloud demand. Holy. $30 billion. Can you make chips fast enough? I use a mix of Wealthsimple and then a little bit of TD Waterhouse or web broker, I guess you could just say. Tanner, did you buy the Figma IPO or nah? No, I did not. It's just not in my wheelhouse. Maybe I'll look at it and see what it does if there's a large sell-off during earnings or something like this, but I don't really buy IPOs. I think the only IPO that I said I would ever, purchase would be something along the lines of like Notion or something like this. Like I use Notion at every waking minute of my life. It's a second brain for me. Figma I've never used. Now, of course, if you're in that space, if you see the growth, if you see the margins, that could be very enticing for you. But I think that's going to come with quite a premium valuation as well. So I think I'll have some time to see it out. Tanner, if you had to buy a new stock that you don't own, what would you buy? Sigig, let me guess what you want me to say. You want me to say Broadcom. I think the real answer, immediately what came to my head is Meta. It's been the biggest mistake of not owning a company. But yeah. Hey, yo. Ray, what's up? Thoughts on Innovix? I don't have any thoughts on Innovix, but I did just buy $50 worth of the stock because someone donated me $50 and told me to buy it. But aside from that, I know a little bit about them, like the battery tech, but nothing individually. I mean, whenever I was looking at them, they were pre-revenue, if I remember correctly. And I don't buy pre-revenue businesses for any reason. Tanner, you can still buy Meta. It's true. It's true. But I'm also very happy, like, although Meta is doing very well, I also think Amazon's going to do very well. I think Google is going to do very well. So Meta is making some unbelievably bold risks right now, and the market is pricing a lot of those in and seeing Meta for what they could be. But if that doesn't go properly, that might suck. I mean, they are still spending a lot on the glasses and Orion projects and all these things, and we haven't even really seen if the market is going to get excited about these types of products. The Meta Ray-Ban products right now are still so nascent. We don't really know if they're going to pick up any steam. But yeah. How about Apple? No, never will I touch Apple unless they get like, well, here's the thing. One, I don't use any Apple products, so I have an inherent bias. I'm an Android guy, which I know I'm going to lose viewers just on saying that. I apologize. But in the next breath, you're also paying quite a steep margin from from Evan in chat. I think that's one of his favorite companies. But if you are really big into the ecosystem, of course you're going to love them. If you were an investor from, 2015 through 2022, you've been served very well from Apple. But we also don't know if they are going to pick up the pace on artificial intelligence. And if they are, their communication here is lacking. So I don't even necessarily, I'm not fading their chances or anything or saying that they're not going to be able to stay in the game. They're certainly not talking about it enough. And whenever they do, it seems like the actual products are not so great. We'll have to see. All Chads use Android. It's true. Chads and also it's a wide range. It's both sides of the spectrum. No pump or dump for Grab? No, I mean, the stock is up 0.75% at $5.33. But honestly, the name that I'm really surprised is moving in after hours is SoFi. I mean, it essentially is a race the entire down day that we ended up seeing. Like we just, diluted by 7 to 8%, and the stock is essentially back to being at 22.41. Like the market just ate that whole quarter up, or ate the dilution up, swallowed it, keeping the quarter, which love that. Love that. So I think SoFi is going to do very well. Remember, this dilution was from a place of strength, which is only going to further benefit their business in some sort of form of another, whether it's an acquisition, whether they're using this to accelerate lending, whether it's for any other type of purpose that we're seeing the broad range of ideas come in from. Noto Fireside tomorrow? Did I miss that? Is that really happening? That would make sense. Revenue grew 23% year over year for Grab. Nice. Tanner, hope you had a great day. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I don't see a fireside chat tomorrow. Is that really true? JMP? I mean, if they do have a fireside chat with JMP and Devin Ryan is there, that would be great. But I don't see it in their upcoming earnings. Am I blind as a bat? Where else am I JMP chat? Okay, you guys know something. This is all I see. Why is that the case? All right, let's go digging then. JMP events. I really do appreciate you guys finding that, because now if there really is a conversation with Noto tomorrow, I'll live stream that. When is that? Can someone send me the link, please? I'm on X. Please DM me a link right here. Go here on X. Please DM me. Everyone knows. How does everyone know? Tanner, aka Grandpa Investor. I know, right? Whenever I don't have information for a specific thing, everyone's like, how are you possibly falling behind? And like, even in my own companies, Amit might know something that I don't know. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my time? But the truth is, I will be okay. I'm picking right names right now. Honestly, I've never felt more confident in my investing abilities than I have been these days. Now, that's a problem. That makes me think we're getting a little toppy. But then earnings start to come out from Q2, and it's like, oh, hold on a second. That's not the case at all. Tanner, the stock goat gave you a shout out in his video. Hopefully he said nice things. But yeah, we're a little close to the top right now. Or well, I'm not suggesting that, but it does feel like that whenever you start feeling like a genius. Okay. You always have to be a little bit worried about those types of events. But then you see, macro data, the potential for even more CapEx spend, more consumers continue to go digital, rate cuts still not being forced in. Like, I mean, if you continue to see growth while rates are high, that's actually a really good sign. Now, hopefully we do get rate cuts as well, but that's only going to accelerate growth going forward. Do you ever take profits along the way? So I have a very hard time taking profits. I do, obviously, but mainly I'm rotating out of names that I have less confidence in and putting it into names that I have more confidence in. For the most part, I usually have near zero cash. I try to, because I don't know how to time the markets. That being said, ever since I picked up on the covered calls and cash secured put strategy, that has added for me to take profits while also not selling anything. So that has been fun. Tanner, would you ever start your own fund? No, I don't think so. Well, I can't say never. I mean, 27, 28-year-old me, no. What does 50-year-old Tanner want to do with his life way into the future? I've got zero clue. Okay. I'm just doing this right now because this is what, I really love to do. Don't have a job. Not that I didn't have a job. I quit my job to do this and invest and take care of the portfolio. And that's worked out. Mwah, okay. But what was I going to say? It doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm going to do into the future. That's true. Yeah, I bought a bunch of shares of SoFi for the community portfolio, which some people get confused and think that that's my portfolio. Okay, guys, I don't have 80 something positions in my portfolio. That is not my portfolio. Why did SoFi go up 20% then down to 3%? Well, from what it actually sounds like is that SoFi put up an unbelievable quarter, got people insanely excited, and then they also sold $1.5 billion worth of their own stock. So that dilution ended up happening that day, from what I understand. So they sold something like 71 million shares of SoFi. Yeah. New here, new to SoFi, eating it up. Well, if you're new to SoFi, we can do a little SoFi understanding here if you want. Very happy to do that. But yeah, let's take a quick look at SoFi. SoFi is a financial or a fintech that's also a bank, also a technology company. They have a third-party technology service that essentially sells their services to other fintechs. And boy, oh boy, are they one linear type of grower. They continue to give out more loans. They continue to offer more products in the way of SoFi Invest or budgeting services or checking accounts, and that continues to grow over time. These are the types of charts that you want to see from a business, right? Members, this is the top of every business. This is how people flow in, right? Then you want to look at like, okay, well, what's the stickiness of those customers? What does the average revenue per user for those customers look like? What's the revenue split and the profitability split to know that the companies are diversified in their earnings, right? Is the profitability, are the margins expanding? The answer is yes, especially in financial services. We used to be at massive deficits in financial services. I don't even know if this chart is big enough for you guys to be able to see it. But we used to be at like negative 67% on financial services, even lower. And now we're doing plus nearly 52%. And there's just no slowing down here. So when do we hit a max on those types of products that are coming in that are fee-based revenue? Even the types of loans that we're giving out, the loan portfolio that we have is even starting to get diversified. We're starting to see home loans come back. So they used to be like before 3.9, 3.6% of our portfolio. Then it started getting to like 0.4%, 0.5, 0.3, tiny, tiny amounts. This is starting to recover. So 0.6, 1.3, 1.9, that's starting to recover. Student loans also starting to recover. We saw this at a low of 28.8%, and people were complaining that SoFi is just a personal loan lender, right? But even that is starting to rebalance. So personal loans, even though we're, writing just the most amount of personal loans, is starting to turn around as well. So high amounts there, increased amount of student loans, and increased amount of home loans, and the spread is getting better. So everything so far looking great. Loan sales, I actually wish we ended up selling off more loans, but I think that they're waiting to get a better time, like a better if rates end up cutting, that they'll get a better margin on their loan sales. Okay. Because the way loans work and the selling of loans is that if you offer a institution the sort of payout of a loan going forward, then you can say, oh, this $30,000 loan is going to make X over the next years. Well, it's going to make this much per year over the next X amount of years. That's what you're going to make if it doesn't default. The chance of it defaulting is, 6 to 8%. Would you like to purchase this? Well, today, institutions can go, no, I don't want to purchase it. I can go and get a rate-free treasury bill for whatever the ongoing rate would be, like for the 10-year right now. 10-year. No. Where's 10-year yield? It's not loading. That's great. 4.37%. Okay, great. But if, for example, we start to get rate cuts, which don't necessarily directly affect the 10-year, so it's a little bit of a bad example, but overall, rate cuts affect the immediate short-term loans that you would end up getting that would be risk-free from large institutions that are borrowing from the Federal Reserve, okay? If SoFi, however, has seasoned loans that came in at higher rates, like at 13.2%, but then the rates that are risk-free end up getting lowered, the difference between 13.2 and the risk-free rate ends up widening. So maybe they're waiting. Who knows? Who does know these days? Share-based compensation, not only on a percentage basis, which now is down to 7.4%, the best we've ever seen by far as a public company, but also in the aggregate dollar amount is looking better. Like the financial restraint, the maturity of this business is really getting there. That's also why I'm not worried about, I think some people got confused. Okay. If you're new to investing, which is perfectly, normal, everyone has to get started at some point. Whenever they dilute, they're selling $1.5 billion worth of shares to buyers, to institutions, in return for capital. They're raising money. The same way that an IPO would offer up a certain amount of shares to the public to allow for purchase. Okay. That's not going into Anthony Noto, Chris LaPointe's hands. There's no, the money is SoFi's money. As a legal entity, it's the institution's cash. Okay. The only way that Anthony Noto is getting some bonus from this is if it's approved by shareholders during a shareholder meeting, for which that's you and I. We get a vote. We get a letter to decide if these people get bonuses. Okay? So that is an important understanding in this, is that this is not, Tanner, who are they buying? I'm not sure. I have no clue. I'm not an insider. I don't have this type of knowledge. I just take guesses, Is this guy friends with Amit? This guy is friends with Amit, yeah. We were just on a live stream together for Robinhood's earnings. Is this guy friends with Amit? My name is Tanner. But yeah, I forget where I was trailing off to, but SoFi and Anthony Noto and Chris Lapointe are also diluted by this offering. So the people who suggested that this was, a rug pull or something like this, why would they want to hurt themselves? You have to understand the incentive to understand why the move was being made. He has a massive $100+ million payout if he can get the stock to $25, $35, excuse me, I got hiccups, and $45 by the end of the year. Well, June of 2026, but it has to hold that amount for 3 consecutive months, I think. So it really has to be there by March at the latest. Okay. In order to, for Anthony Noto and Chris Lapointe and all these people that might want these bonuses to get there, they need to factor in what dilution is going to do to the business. So why would they want to do this if it's going to hurt the company overall? Okay, I got a couple donations here, so let me just read these off really quick. Preselto says, if you had to start over with your portfolio and buy 3 companies at these current prices, which ones would you choose? With also the knowledge that I have, I mean, the problem is you're forcing me to pick a portfolio that I wouldn't choose. I would not choose to diversify only into 3 businesses. Okay. And for what time frame? How long? So if you put me in an extremely long-term time horizon, I would continue to pick NVIDIA. I would continue to pick SoFi. I would continue to pick Shopify, these types of businesses that I have, that I'm betting large parts of my portfolio on right now. Okay. In the short term, I really do think that Google and Amazon and these types of businesses are amazingly priced for today. But I'm going big tech the whole time. I'm not picking small names. If you're telling me I have to put 33% of my portfolio in there, the idea that one of them goes down would be disastrous. So if I had to start over, I would pick quality businesses. Quality. And that's what Warren Buffett learned, is that the cigarette butt approach just doesn't work. The real approach to compounding wealth here is quality businesses, hold them for so long. Okay. YLO says, thank you, Tanner, for all that you do. Happy for you and the community. SoFi shareholder at $8 average. We'll be adding more soon. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Charlie Munger's the real GOAT because he told Warren Buffett that buying a wonderful business at an okay valuation was better than buying an okay business at a wonderful valuation. So whenever people tell me, hey, would you want to buy Google or Amazon here? Or would you want to buy PayPal? I like PayPal, but come on, guys. One has the potential for going under, and I don't mean under because they don't make a lot of money right now, but a larger part of their business is being disrupted. Amazon's not being disrupted at all. I mean, they might be one of the biggest players in artificial intelligence, cloud revenue, humanoid robotics, logistics, everything. They could start a Fintech and be one of the biggest players, in America. They have everywhere that they want to go. I'm not suggesting PayPal is a bad business, but if you're forcing me to pick one of 3 names, it's not on the 3-name list. Let's get some water. Where's my 5-minute timer, guys, that tell me to have a sip of water? Come on. We all need to be drinking more water these days. Doesn't SoFi need to disclose if they're selling more shares themselves? Well, the SoFi insiders do. I don't know if SoFi actually does, because clearly, they didn't. But in terms of those small things, I don't think they have to. I mean, that would kind of let the market know that the stock's about to drop. Hey, go ahead and sell it off. I don't know if that's the case. So you think Google, Amazon, and Nvidia, etc., are at good prices right now? Yeah. I think Nvidia might be the one that is stretched the most out of those names. But even then, if the future is what we expect it to be, which are unbelievably large data centers with $1 trillion plus spend a year, which is what Jensen is expecting, that a $4 trillion, $5 trillion business, I mean, these are early days of what is about to happen. AMD could be a large winner as well. I've been following Nvidia a lot more. I see them a lot better. And whenever you start looking at companies, at least this is the way that I do it, on a multiple of earnings and the growth rates there, that you worry less about the total market cap and you worry more about if they're able to compound still at those rates. And right now, it doesn't look like Nvidia is going to be slowing down anytime soon. Let's see here. Costco has a 52 price to earnings ratio. So don't talk about Google being overvalued. Well, I mean, that's exactly right. There are so many businesses that are growing like at very small rates, which to be fair are sticky growth rates. Like Costco, I'm an avid Costco user. I've got the credit card. I'm as deep as it goes, right? Shop there all the time. But the percentage in which they're growing year over year pales in comparison to what Google, Amazon, Meta, all of these businesses that have unbelievable long tailwinds, operational leverage. It's insane. Tanner, it's been a full day since you've gotten a tweet up. Evan, I just don't have your skills, brother. I don't. This guy tweets 80 times a day, and I do appreciate. I need someone to tell me to get out there, But yeah, it's been straight up a full day. That's just, if you want the real me and like what I'm thinking, visit the live stream. Like, I'm happy to answer any questions. It's just, and also I'm not sitting over my computer constructing the best freaking possible idea. I just get stressed trying to think about posting something wrong on X, where once it's live and it's just out, that's it. Good or bad, might have said the wrong thing, whatever. But at least it's just the real answer. Hood's not exactly cheap. While I agree that they're not exactly cheap, having a company that has a rule of 40 of 112%, what are we supposed to pay for that? What exactly do we do whenever we're buying a company that's growing faster than any of its competitors? Does that not deserve a premium? Same thing with Shopify, right? Shopify is probably the greatest example of this. It's like you could go look at the other e-commerce names and go, oh my gosh, Shopify is a little bit expensive here. But what's the alternative? You buy second place, you continue to lose customers to the customer or to the brokerage or e-commerce space that is winning 10 times to your one. So Shopify, for example, the reason why I've always been bullish, I mean, it drums down to one simple feat, which is that for every, I think it's 46 merchants that end up joining Shopify's platform, they lose one to their competitors. Okay. Now, the reasons for that gets into a lot of nuance for a Shopify podcast. in terms of the conversion rates, the total cost of ownership, the latency times during Black Friday deals and everything like this, which a lot of the other e-commerce sites struggle with during high, like high frequency visits on their websites. Shopify is able to hold up during the most important times in sellers' years, right? In that cyclical business. So, I know you're not a Grab guy, but can you give us your quick opinions on the earnings numbers? Thanks. I really am not. I really am not a Grab guy. Not that I don't like them. I just don't know much about the business. Like, I mean, truly, they're a ride-sharing business in Asia, and then also a fintech business as well. That's roughly about the extent in which I know that business. Good luck to you guys. Right now, you're flat on the day, $5.32. But to me, I've always just liked, Nubank more. I find that if I were to buy a company that is doing financial services and branching out of financial services, while also taking advantage of a market that is so nascent to these types of products, Nubank is the name. Like, they're growing at double the rates with double the margins. They're cheap as ever. But yeah. Grab has $7 billion in cash. I mean, that's exciting. I know that they were looking at doing an acquisition, but they with one of their top competitors, but then they sort of said that they weren't doing it or something. I think it was called like Go2 or something like this. I've heard a little bit about it, but honestly, Amit doesn't even try to pitch it on me. So I don't know too much about it. I have not read his 17-page thing yet. I'm a Shopify store owner. I'm here to stay. No plans to leave anytime soon. There you go. Amit got me into Grab. You got yourself into Grab. Amit loves Grab, so he talks about it, but in the same way that if a company stays stagnant or ends up going down, that wasn't Amit that did that. In the same way that if you went and bought Palantir whenever it was $7 and went up, that wasn't Amit either. I mean, he might have put it in front of you, but it takes your own, investor guts to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pull this trigger. This is my money. I'm going to bet on this horse. Tanner got me into PayPal, says Evan. Well, I mean, honestly, you might be right. And I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I told you guys when I bought PayPal. I told you guys when I sold PayPal. And yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, SoFi is trending. Well, it is exciting that it's moved so much. I mean, from the bottom, well, not even from the bottom today, but from where it opened to now, we're back up above 7%. It really is crazy how much that this is returned. Quick tax breakdown in Canada, please. You want me to start going through the code? What does that mean, Paul? Quick tax breakdown? There's no quick tax breakdown. When you make income, when you buy things at a store, you get taxed. Okay? When you sell your house, when you die, when you start a company, you get taxed. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, read the tax code. I promise you, a $2 donation is not going to get me to talk about taxes. I agree with Lena here. F taxes. I want to talk about stocks, baby. I'm here to talk about Robinhood. I'm here to talk about Meta, Nvidia, Microsoft. That is what's getting me hyped up today. I don't care what Robinhood's doing after hours. Okay, we've seen quite the run up, but this doesn't mean that you sell a position after seeing the most godly beats that we've ever seen from this type of business. Okay, especially if the bull market continues. If you start seeing times when Meta is up more than 10%, when Microsoft and all of these businesses are up so much in a single day that you go ahead and you sell the company that directly benefits from markets being green? Yeah, right. 328,500 shares from Auntie Cathie Woods. ARK Invest bought the SoFi dip. That's exciting. That's exciting. What was the price that she bought it at? Now, to be fair, she's been known to sell SoFi. I think at one point she held like 14 million shares, or maybe, I think it was 14 million shares of SoFi, or $14 million worth of SoFi. I forget. I think it was 14 million shares, because $14 million is a little bit of shares. But that being said, she also sold off all of those and then started building her position back up like a month later, after she had already, seen that pass her by. So she's got a certain way of giving away those gains to other investors. But hey, new buyers bring stocks higher. I am not worried about it. What I can't wait is how fast. Well, I was going to get back to SoFi, but honestly, we should talk a little bit about Robinhood here. It's just hard to, obviously they're going to do really well, but the funny thing about Robinhood is that it's so easy to digest what they're expecting because they just give so much transparency. I had the ability to be on the call today. And now, to be fair, I didn't even get to ask a question because I didn't dial in properly, but I'm glad it was just user error. Yeah, it was. But I didn't even really have a strong question to begin with. And there were a lot of questions that answered adjacently to what I was going to say. But I was just going to ask if gold subscribers were going to start rolling out for international customers, and if crypto was going to be a part of that, and how tokenizing benefits for Robinhood Gold users was going to work. But overall, from what I heard from the people that were there, that my name got brought up a couple times. They still super love the retail community, and hopefully we'll try to get us to more events. We weren't at the France event, but maybe we will be in the ones into the future to cover things like the banking products, maybe some new trading products that's coming up. Who knows what they're going to show off if they continue to do 3 announcements per year. That's just insane. Really quick, let's just show off for those that didn't see. They ended up climbing up in users. User counts up 750,000. A lot of that was from Bitstamp. They acquired a new platform for cryptocurrency. So they added 520,000 accounts through there. Gold subscribers had an attach rate that was the highest we've ever seen at 13.1%. So that's 13.1% of their users give $5 a month. And then, you get additional benefits that I'll talk about here in a sec. And then the amount of total, assets on platform, brand new high as well, up 26% quarter over quarter, up 100% year over year. And then net deposits, they added on another 13.1 or $13.8 billion worth of assets. Revenue hit another unbelievable amount year over year, up 45%. Adjusted operating expenses. This is the craziest part about Robinhood, okay? Even though they added on 45% of new revenue, that revenue accounted for only a 9% increase in expenses. So there's 2 types of expenses that companies have to deal with: fixed and variable, okay? A fixed cost is like your rent, okay? So each and every month, that X amount, $2,000, whatever it is coming out each and every month. Bang, 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 bang. Fixed. Variable is, hey, every single month, your water bill adjusts. But with Robinhood, imagine you had to, the amount of revenue that you have, your water bill adjusts based on how many accounts that you have, how many transactions are made, the amount of data that you have on customers. Like, you're paying cloud providers, you're paying engineers, you're paying everything. Okay. Oh no, accounting 101. Well, okay, but this is important for new investors. But variable expenses, the fact that they've only grown by 9%, there's not many customers that do this, okay? Or there's not many stocks that do this. But yes, I will ramp it up a bit. I know that's a little bit 101. I apologize. But look at the amount of new products that they're putting out, which is also inclusive of their technology development and research expense. And yet that's still not even adjusting. Like, what are we talking about here, guys? You look dehydrated? Thank you. Yeah, tell me more about Canadian tax code. I'm sorry for the guy that donated and we're just ripping on him. We're just ripping him apart, but I don't know what you want from me. I apologize. We can get off the tax code stuff. I just, Robinhood just ended up seeing an unbelievable increase in funded customers. We saw more assets on the platform. All their, different types of products saw more, retirement accounts. The amount of money per account gone up or went up. So then this took a massive step up, 2xing just year over year. Robinhood Gold saw a massive increase. And Robinhood Gold users have a massive multiple on the amount that they make for SoFi. So that's huge. Hold on a second. Payush, the daily donator, the grand supporter of the channel, says Auntie Cathie bought 328,500 shares of SoFi at $22.40 price. Let's follow her lead for the community fund. Absolute deal, Payush. We will add it to the fund for those that are new to the channel. Just for a fun's sake, I end up allowing investors who want to donate to support the channel, and it's absolutely no pressure at all. I mean, we're gonna be here, giving out great content regardless. But in the meantime, I will buy your investments if you tell me to. Now, it is down. This is not my portfolio. This is the community portfolio. This is you guys. Okay. We also happen to have a crazy person in chat, Dookie, who's probably in this chat, that has given the not majority, but a large portion of this fund herself. So SBET has not performed greatly. If we turn this on to the total, man, I got hiccups. If we turn this on to total, SBET is down 47%. And at one point that was our largest holding. It is the Dookie portfolio to some degree. But SoFi is back to being number one, which I'm so stoked about. We're up 2% on that. That's fine. Robinhood's up there. PayPal's up there. Rivian, UNH. And we have many, many names. 81 whenever you take out cash. 81 names in the portfolio. Just crazy. So we'll add another share of SoFi onto that. I've never called my boss crazy. You think I'm getting fired? Oh man. Okay. What brokerage do I use to sell options? Well, I'm here in Canada, so Wealthsimple is my mainstay for the most part. I've been dabbling in Questrade, but not often enough, to be honest, or not much, to be honest. Tomorrow, someone new is hosting Future Investing. Future Investing is greater than me now. When someone like ARK Invest buys massive amounts of shares, when do they do it? After hours? No, usually it's during market hours. When it actually happens, I think is a little bit to their own, that's up to them. Now, if you were to look at the total volume that gets traded in a stock, it's heavily, positioned in the front and back half of a day. So I don't know if that means anything for her that she ends up purchasing in the first hour, the last hour of trading hours. But SoFi overall did start to recover all day. Maybe they did slow buy-ins over time. Who knows? Who does know? Will you buy a Luma with my small donation? Unfortunately, I will not. I know that sounds cruel, but we do have the rule set for the actual community fund in the description, which essentially just means that we have a $1 billion market cap and also a $10 donation minimum. Now, I think you actually donated before, so I'm not worried about the amount that you've donated because I do appreciate it, and I can put in the $25 or whatever, but it can't be for Luma, which is a $380 billion business. Oh, sorry, $380 million business. Too small. So if you have another name, I'll do that though. Based on Microsoft and Meta results, I believe fund managers have to choose or have to chase now. Lots of green after hours and overnight. Maybe. I cannot get over the day that we ended up having. Carvana up 15.7%, Microsoft up 8.3%, Meta up 11.5%. Meta up 11.5%. That these days don't come around very often. When they do, we just have to enjoy them, right? I want to show you guys a picture though. Let's get back to SoFi really quick because I had this up on my screen. Want up to $2,000 in stock plus premium investing perks? Join SoFi Plus and fund an active invest account to grab 2x the bonus rewards. Plus some things are just better together. Now, I love that. Some things are just better together. They're saying if you have SoFi Plus, which is a checking account product, and you go ahead and fund an active investing account, which would be a second product, they're going to give you a large bonus here. Which, fine. I mean, companies are doing this. Robinhood does this constantly to attract new users, right? You have to, like that would go into a sort of contra revenue line. But SoFi's ability to cross-sell is going to be very, very interesting over time. Now, the last 2 quarters, we have seen an increase of each individual person at Robinhood or at SoFi has more products per user than they have in previous quarters. That's very exciting. Paul says, buy SoundHound, please. Absolutely, I will. That's in the portfolio. Let me just screenshot that. Thank you, Paul, for the donation. Carl says, more UNH. Carl, thank you. I do appreciate it. You have your own, essentially, portfolio within this portfolio, which, by the way, we track everyone's individual picks for the donations. So maybe we're going to do some sort of quarterly report and see how everyone individually has done and potentially look to sell some positions that haven't worked and maybe put that into other ones. So that'll be a fun little stream that we do. Do you get paid by SoFi? Absolutely not. In fact, they don't even talk to me. If you guys saw the email chain of messages outbound to SoFi's investor relations and then the zero amount that they get back to me, I absolutely do not get paid by SoFi. But do I get paid by SoFi in the way that I hold their shares and my average is like less than $8 a share? Yes. I'm a big believer not in investing or not in trading, but investing in businesses that you continue to look into over time. And if I think people just way underestimate the power of compounding in businesses over years rather than individual day trading. Now, a lot of you guys, if you're watching this, you guys already understand this, but like a company that can continue to put out double-digit growth rates or even 20+%, like Meta is still doing this. If you were to be an old school investor of Meta, like when did they IPO? I actually don't know. I want to say like 2009 or something. 2011, 2012. If you were to purchase this company back in 2012 and believed that the historic data showed that they were just going to continue to compound, you're buying an amazing business. And everyone goes, oh yeah, of course, buying Meta, buying Microsoft, buying these businesses, like of course buying them earlier would have done you a favor. But why isn't that the case for the Robinhoods, the SoFis, the Shopifys, the any of these other names that we talk about that are smaller names? Everyone talks about finding them when they're small, but then whenever I actively am holding them when they're small, people think that I'm getting paid to do so or something like this. It's like, no, I just think did I not show you the charts? They're every statistic is up and to the right. So why would I not continue to be bullish? Most of us are long-term investors, not day traders. I would assume so. The lack of charting or TA that you've seen during even this stream would probably push away some of the day traders. I'm more of a fundamental or qualitative investor, meaning that I look at the numbers. I only really look at sentiment whenever I'm actively trying to purchase or sell, not during when I'm holding. And I like to buy businesses where there is some level of a story that I can see that other investors can't see. Evan says, you know where to put this. He wants Honeywell, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I should have said SoFi. Dang. Lost my chance. Meta on its way to the moon. I mean, it really does look like that. The advertising that they're making the advertising revenue that they're making is so freaking exciting. When is TTD earnings? When is this? Let's try to find the trade desk's earnings because that one's another position that I hold that I cannot wait for. When? Maybe someone in chat is probably going to get there before I do. 8 days, August 7th. August 7th. When you start seeing Google show off way higher than expected advertising, Meta, I get excited for AppLovin. I get excited for the trade desk. I'm getting excited for all these. So, yeah, very exciting. I still remember when Facebook went public IPO. I don't. I started investing in 2015, late 2015. And I don't really remember what companies were IPOing around then. I remember being into Tesla at the time. That was the first company I'd ever purchased. And I watched some YouTubers actually that got me interested in the stock. And they had essentially zero charging stations, and all this was completely nascent. And wow, how long that has come around. But that's what, buying quality businesses and compounding over time. Now, I didn't hold it since 2015. I was a brand new investor. I honestly think it was Hyperchange back then. I think it was Hyperchange. He was definitely one of the original guys for sure. And then I think he honestly made so much money, he just stopped posting. I think he's back to posting now, but he stopped for a bit. Then it was solving the money problem and, these types of investors that I was following. Jeremy Lefebvre was one of them that kept me really informed on names like Tesla. I got to meet Jeremy Lefebvre, which I know is maybe not everyone's favorite these days because of certain positions that he's placed. But whenever I got to meet him and do a video with him, I'm like, man, I used to watch you through the screen, bro. Now I'm talking with you. This is unreal. Jeremy's an OG. Yeah, he is. He really is. He used to show off, like, you know, the actual cars and the products, and he was buying them himself. Like, I don't know. It was a great time. Um, invite him to the channel and talk SoFi. So you might, maybe this is new lore to some of you guys. I'm the one who got him into SoFi. I pitched it to him 2 separate times. There's 2 videos on this channel of me getting him on here to say, you need SoFi. He'll tell you. There's a couple of those investors. Fintech was another one. I was the one who showed him Nubank. He covers that company a lot and gets very, very excited. I did like an hour-long video that's public on this channel where he didn't even know what the name was. I introduced the company to him. We all just trying to learn together. I hope all retail investors do extremely well, and I'm trying to make a little bit of money here as well. And let's all try to learn from each other, and it's a beautiful thing. Sounds so dorky, but like, really, like, I've gotten to be a better investor by doing YouTube. 1000%. It forces me to look into companies way more often than I would even do with my own money, because I honestly think it's easier to spend your own money without like it's easier to spend your own money without due diligence, because you don't need to justify it to anyone. But YouTube kind of forces you to say, hey, you need like you're about to make this purchase. People are going to ask you why. Now explain yourself. So you're like, all right, before I make this purchase, why don't I really double check and triple check these numbers? Let's make sure that I understand the risks here. That's an easy sum up of what exactly happens. But yeah, it is to some degree, it is true. Tanner, how did you develop such early conviction in NVIDIA when it was just being used to mine Bitcoin, plus put this towards Meta in the fund? Absolutely, I will. So it wasn't that it was just being used for Bitcoin. But thank you, Doogie, by the way. But essentially it was in the actual GPUs. I was a big computer guy at the time. And, I was buying the old, like, what was the chip at the time? Probably the GTX 970, I think, the 900 series. And then we went to, the 1000s, 2000s, 3000s. But we went from 700, 800, 900, 1000. Then we started skipping the numbers. But I think it was 970 back in 2018. And the card that I had before that was the 770, like the 770X or something like this. So I'd always been a fan of their chips. GeForce was the whole thing. I was a big fan. And then the Bitcoin mining situation, Bitcoin was huge back then. I mean, obviously we're like 16 times bigger now, but it was an unbelievable move back then. Okay. And Bitcoin mining was all the rage. I was working at the time and I remember following it religiously. And then there was such a massive crash, and NVIDIA, a company that I had been following that had unbelievable growth over time, had seen quite the drop off. And I remember that there was similar drop offs in Bitcoin previously. And I thought that the market was not seeing that there was constant large dips in the price of Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin mining would recover again later on. Now, did I think that they were going to, or that custom silicon, and that there will be Bitcoin mining chips that will be more specific for that use case rather than NVIDIA? No. But at the time, people were rigging up these, 10 series chips and everything to help mine Bitcoin. And that was a massive part. And the stock actually had ended up dropping, I think it was like 50+% or 46%, something like this, when I actually ended up purchasing. It was late 2018. I had no idea about artificial intelligence. But they continued to put up good numbers and blow away my expectations. And I learned more about the business over time. And Then artificial intelligence started coming in and really showing a new use case for NVIDIA. So I found a new reason to be bullish even at higher prices. But those things happen. Those things happen constantly in stocks. Whenever I first bought Tesla, I didn't know humanoid robots robotics was going to be a thing. You know, robotaxi, even to some degree back in 2015, was not a big talking point for the company. I mean, I was buying it because I thought, wow, you can buy something that's potentially, this is now a controversial statement. I didn't think it was at the time, that they were potentially, better for the environment. The cost of the batteries were falling off a cliff. The range at the time for these Teslas were so bad, but they were improving. Like there was breakthrough after breakthrough for long range, Tesla models. So once that started to creep near or even starting to get over what a traditional gas vehicle was seeing, I was sold. They were cheaper. There was the launch not top speed. No one really cares about EVs for top speed, but the launch, the cost to operate, like total cost of ownership, all of these things just had sold me that this will be the next version of driving. And then it's only as you end up holding on to those companies that you end up finding new reasons for those businesses as they've solved a problem and move on to something new. I think one day SoFi will be the biggest loan platform business company on earth. They're going to do amazing things there. But that, like today, and I'm glad that I'm recording my thoughts here. I wish I did YouTube back then because you'd be able to see some of my thoughts back then. But I didn't know anything about the loan platform business. I didn't know that SoFi was going to even be this large in financial services. But as you hold on to companies, you find new use cases. Management, humans have the ability to solve problems and continue to find new growth. And that's why I think people say you have to bet on the founders, because you're betting on the person, not the individual business, unless you're selling a commodity like Coca-Cola or Pepsi that can just do the same thing for 100 years. You need to, in the tech space and in the growth space, you need to find people that think of ideas the way not many other founders would. You see that very clearly with the Anthony Notos, the Vlad Tenevs, the Brian Armstrongs, the Max Levchins. That's just in, fintech. But that's why I'm going to continue to bet on those guys, even though Lending Club, I mean, it's up 20% today on great earnings. But over time, over the next 10 years, I'm not going to bet on the company that has been behind on innovation and using the companies that are front running them in order to decide on what they're going to do next. Heck no. I want to pick the companies that are kicking down the doors and being first to market on multiple occasions. Even if you don't think things are going to work out, but you see constant innovation, like Coinbase's social media thing, I'm not even that bullish on it. But boy, am I excited to see how the market reacts to it, because I'm not the consumer for every single product. Some people get caught up in that as well, that they see SoFi doing certain things and they go, I don't need a personal loan. I want active trading products like complex option strategy tools. I don't want a personal loan. I don't need a student loan. So why would I invest in that company? Well, because a lot of the world does. Roy showed me the Coinbase thing for the first time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like it either. But also, Brian, I'm not going to be betting against them. Open Door? Yeah, I mean, we haven't learned anything. I don't know. Fundamental qualitative analyst, not a day trader, blah, blah, blah. How's Open Door doing? I don't know. I told people not to buy it on the way up. I wouldn't buy it on the way down. I think Open Door goes bankrupt and completely away in my investing career. I don't want to put a timeline on that, but I got some feelings. Well, What was your worst stock pick, Tanner? Probably Skills, which was a sort of gambling game type app. I had a position in Peloton as well that obviously didn't do very well. Some people look at the price of where it was and then where it is today and go, wow, that didn't work. But it's not like I'm still holding them. I dropped them a long time ago. But Skills was probably the biggest. I put some money in gold at certain times whenever there were investors that I trusted whenever I was younger. And then those didn't end up working out and lost money there. I can't really think. There hasn't been too many big ones recently. But yeah, 2022, here's the thing. Because I'm so growth focused and long-term investing focused, that whenever I buy a company, like I want to hold it for a long period. And I have high aspirations and will pay big premiums for these businesses. So whenever what I hope happens, that the market actually sees the opportunity that I see, these are the most expensive companies in the world. Okay. And you'd be surprised that I missed Palantir because it honestly would fit right in with what I like buying. But it was hard for me to understand the difference between their product and other companies' products. I should have listened to Amit a lot more. But essentially, when good times are good, I'm doing great. When bad times are bad, I'm doing terrible. 2022 was not a great time. I was buying good businesses, trying to do my best, but falling into traps. But we learn, you know. I'll be a better investor next year than I am this year. I will be, yeah. Do you think that your thesis on Skills was solid enough, though they didn't execute? I think about this a lot, or at least management had told me something, and I didn't, and I trusted them. And honestly, I think that they should have been sued out of oblivion because they just straight up lied about a lot of things. And the thing that I learned about Skills, the biggest takeaway was that the new member ads, which for me, for a lot of the businesses, have been like the number one key performance indicator that I have stuck with, has been some form of, okay, well, how do they attract users? How are they multiplying on average revenue per user? Even if they're not profitable, is there some sort of road to profitability? Okay. And Skills, where I really lost on that position, was realizing that their sales and marketing efforts were not just for new users, they were for existing ones, and they never broke it out the way I wish they should have, and I didn't question it enough. Was that they were compounding like crazy. You know, the growth was there, the margins, the like average revenue per user was there, but if they weren't paying customers more and more to be there, they weren't going to show up to put in their own money. That was the problem. Now, I don't really think about them a lot now, but I do think about that. Like, it's not that I'm sitting at home and going, oh, what should I have done with Hims? But then I'll see another company that has high sales and marketing, compounding, but not profitable yet. And I think, okay, but what happens whenever you turn that sales and marketing engine off? It's sort of my question with Hims. Honestly, the reason why I didn't buy into Hims is I felt like, you know, how different is their product versus other type of similar drug products in hair treatments or ED or some of these things without Paul says water. All right, you're so right. Taking big sips too. We're just going crazy today. All right. But Hims, if they stopped paying for amazing sales and marketing efforts and social media posts and everything that made them so catchy, would subscribers still show up to pay their rates? And the answer is probably yes, but I missed that one. Are you worried about SoFi banking at all coming for SoFi's lunch? No. Sometimes I have to take a step back and look at the. Okay, well, actually, I'll play both sides of the argument. Sometimes I have to take a look at Bank of America, Citigroup, all the regionals, all the mega banks, all the community banks, all the credit unions, and go, oh my gosh, this market is insanely huge. So freaking big. Okay. And realize that the margins that SoFi has as well could compete one-to-one with Robinhood's offerings. They can offer 3% credit cards the same way that Robinhood can. In fact, they could actually do it better than Robinhood because they actually have the bank charter, they have the tech stack. Like Robinhood pays SoFi for their ability to spend on their cards. Robinhood pays a bank in order to leave deposits with a bank. SoFi doesn't. So in a race in margins in an equivalent product like that, not talking about design and which one customers want to use, but I just mean in terms of margin, SoFi wins that game 10 out of 10 times because of that bank charter. Okay. In that same breath, about talking about total addressable markets, community banks, regionals, all of those things, I don't think SoFi is willing to do a race to the bottom on margin from a management standpoint nearly as much as Vlad is. Vlad wants market share over anything. He wants market share over earnings, and they will be one of the largest financial institutions because of that hungry tech style that they have. I really do believe that. In the next breath as well, I think that a large amount of banks, credit unions, regionals, community banks have gotten started because of regionality. Or maybe there's a different word that I can use there, but essentially branches have separated, areas of cities to being like, all right, well, I just moved into here and the closest bank is Chase and my kid just got to age. So I'm going to bring my kid to Chase so he can, get started here. Or like you kind of get picked based on region, right? Now with everything being digital, you kind of get picked on what bank you're going to use depending on where you show up in the app store. And that's a very different situation. So I think that the amount of diversity in banking in the next 50 to 100 years will be drastically more concentrated over the next 50 than we were in the previous 50, because the internet makes everyone at the same place. The Apple App Store, the Google App Store, and rankings determine who shows up. It's not even remotely my birthday, by the way, guys. I saw a lot of posts about my birthday. We have months left. Okay. Not doing this every day. So that I do think that there will be some different levels of concentration in banking than what we've seen over the past 50 to 100 years. Now, SoFi, if Robinhood comes out and they start to see customers switching over from SoFi to Robinhood, because you do see it in the payments, like the ACATs, the transfers, you end up seeing, okay, well, this is going from SoFi to Robinhood. What do you think? Robinhood or SoFi is not going to offer 4% to match that? 4.1%? They're not going to, boost their credit cards up to 3%. They're not going to do these types of things to meet Robinhood where they are. And you could say, Tanner, why aren't they doing that today? The truth is that they're not really doing that because they're not seeing a lot of customers leaving. Maybe they are on the invest side and they're trying to pour more money into there. But the truth is that the real money makers for SoFi right now is personal loans, the SoFi Money, and then student and home loans. But hopefully, SoFi Invest will also get better as well. But it has been one of the big parts here. Tanner, did you know that SoFi released a waitlist for Pay Worldwide? If you mean the international money transfers, then yes. If you mean for some sort of product called Pay Worldwide, I don't know. But I assume you mean international money transfers. Cathie Wood essentially spends another decent chunk, $300 Yeah, $7 million. Thank you, Data Driven Investing, for breaking this down for me so I didn't have to bust out a calculator. $7 million on SoFi today. And that was an ARK K, by the way, not even ARK F, which is her fintech fund. I'm surprised she didn't buy anything in there as well. Looks like she sold out of block in her fintech fund. Maybe tomorrow we might see a purchase. I don't think, if I were to make a pretty big bet on something, it's the fact that they're going to buy SoFi in ARK F tomorrow. Because why are you buying SoFi in your ARK K fund, but you're not doing that in your fintech fund when you also just cleared up investments? You know, if there's one thing Cathie doesn't like, it's cash. Robinhood has some home loans now too, but SoFi definitely has more scale in that department. No, so they don't really have home loans. They have home loan referrals. So they're not hosing any loans for home loans. They're just sending them off to another customer. Now, what this tells me is that they do have appetite to want to cross-sell loans on their platform. And honestly, what I think you'll probably see there is some form of partnership between Galileo and Robinhood, because SoFi has an underwriting capability like none other, and they have an extremely strong relationship with Robinhood. People don't realize how close SoFi and Robinhood are. They're very close. They work together. If you have a SoFi debit card, you are, if you have a Robinhood debit card, you are paying SoFi revenue. All right. Galileo is what interests me most about SoFi. What interests me most is the loan platform business. That's my most exciting part. Loan platform business is insane. Do you know that the loan platform business this quarter made more money than Galileo? Remember, it started less than a year ago. They've only been up for about 4 quarters. Okay. Or, well, I guess, yeah, a year ago. But there's no year-over-year comparison, is what I was trying to say. The take rate on the loan platform business has gone up since it started 4 quarters ago, has gone up a full a full point, 100 basis points. It's now 35% of all personal loan volume is going through a product that they don't take any take rate on, or that they don't take any risk on. Debit cards are for brokies so bad. I'm not a big debit card person. I don't have a single one in my wallet. But supposedly the young generation does not like credit, and that they use a lot of debit cards. So like SoFi, for example, I would say has a more affluent user base, but they have like, oh yeah, no, it is called Pay Worldwide. This was just released. I think this is their international payments thing. But they are now asking people to sign up what looks like in-app. Later this year, we'll offer SoFi checking and savings members international money transfers in the SoFi app. Yeah, so this is the exact same thing that they said. 30 plus countries, they're going to use blockchain to transfer within minutes. SoFi offers members many unique ways to pay. This is just many ways that SoFi is giving more control and choice over your money. If I remember correctly, seeing the beta for this is that they charge about $1 per transaction, which is much cheaper than if you were going to use a Western Union or PayPal Zoom or something like this. So yeah, that's it. Another name I should probably do some more due diligence on tonight is Microsoft. I don't read enough about them because, you know, it's Microsoft. It's like just one of those staples, but maybe I should look back into them because they're honestly one of those main staple names that maybe I need. Credit cards is free money if you pay it off. Guys, I am I'm a big advocate for credit cards. Big. I've got many of them for different reasons. Pay it off on time. You don't lose a dollar. It's just free money. I completely agree. Don't have to convince me. Microsoft Azure, I know. But the way I'm playing it is just through NVIDIA. It just seems like the amount of spend each quarter is just going to go up. He ain't no Dave Ramsey. It's true. Yeah, I honestly cannot wait to see what AWS has put up. Isn't that tomorrow, by the way? I think it's Apple and Amazon tomorrow. I'll be live. If you guys aren't subscribed and you guys want daily updates, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Amazon is tomorrow. Apple tomorrow. Coinbase tomorrow. Cloudflare. Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy. Reddit. Enovix. Apple has spent, I think, $1 billion on their GB300 chips from NVIDIA. So they have shown little dabblings of the toes, but it's nothing like the $22+ $30 billion CapEx spends from Microsoft that's coming up next quarter. I mean, it's nothing like what we're seeing from the other names. I hope to see Apple's CapEx spend, but if you guys honestly chart it out, which Steven has done a couple times, it's just flat. Like, it's nothing near as big as what every other of the Mag 7 names, including Tesla. Tesla is ramping CapEx, and Apple is not. They're just doing buybacks. Hey, Tanner, what percentage of cash are you holding in your portfolio for a buyback? I think I'm at like point something percent. I don't have 1% in cash for a pullback. I'm just that bullish. No, I have some funds in my portfolio as well that make up small percentages of my portfolio that are more income-based that I sell off whenever there are rough times to put into things that have sold off even more. So if there's a bad time like Liberation Day, we see maybe a JEPQ or something is down 10%, 15%, and SoFi down 40%. Or, pick a name. Robinhood, I think, during Liberation Day or Liquidation Day, if people want to call it that, went from like 65 to 35. Massive sell-off, rotate out of my income funds into those types of positions, take advantage of the large sell-offs, and then as things get better and I'm making money and being able to DCA in, I just put a little bit back into those funds to replenish the portfolio. Would you ever consider taking profits on NVIDIA? So I have, from the time that I've purchased it till now, I've sold a lot. From 2018 till now, well, actually, I've not sold in a real long while lately. I've honestly sold at much lower prices than even more recent purchases. That's because I didn't understand some of the moves that were happening. And it was getting overextended for what I thought that they were going to be putting up, which was clear now that the prices have gone up, or that the estimates on sales have gone up. That said, I have no real want to take profits on NVIDIA right now. Maybe later on, maybe when they're a $7.5, $8 trillion business and growth rates are slowing into the high 20s or something like this, maybe we'll look to take a little off the top to feed the family. But no, I honestly think writing covered calls right now is my strategy. Tanner, do you own a house or property? You're looking at it. I bought this house back in about to be 2 years, I think. Next month. No, wait. Yeah, I bought it in August of 2023. How long have I been here? Yeah, I think August of 2023. I think this next month will be my 2-year anniversary here. Bought it with my girlfriend. Which I remember all the comments at the time whenever I told you guys that I was buying a place and move out of my old place before, that everyone was like, do not do that. If you're not married to her, you cannot do that. But no, we both have a 50-50 split on the house. Yeah, I definitely didn't time it well. And in fact, it actually looked like I bought it near the top, but yeah. Yeah, I slapped the top. I actually think that I saw a neighbor's house up for sale recently, and it was above my property value. It wasn't much higher. I mean, it's definitely hasn't been a great investment, but it was higher than what I purchased my house at. And I remember looking at the pictures, and I was like, my house is probably worth a little bit more. 27 and bought a house. That's an amazing accomplishment. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Not to brag, I was 25 at the time. Thank you. Yeah, no, I worked really hard. Your house price is irrelevant unless you're looking to sell. No, I agree. But I do think I will sell it in the next 3 years, 4 years, something like that. But I do want to have a kid or kids soon, ish. And probably don't want to be here for that. Sold drugs? No, as a financial advisor, actually. Look at that, eh? We bought our houses in 2014 in Winnipeg for $213,000, $30,000 down payment. Just paid it off this year. Already have $30K of equity. Congratulations. That's awesome. Sell it to get the gold card. I mean, Toronto property is not that valuable. Dude, I remember we talked about this. I met Evan in real life. And we were talking about how he was a financial advisor for a bit. And I'm not going to say his friend's name, but his friend's name, or his friend was a Goldman Sachs guy for like this long. But boy, oh boy, was he was highlighting it. That was going in the in the list of accomplishments. What do you call it? Like your resume. That's what I was looking for. I want to sell my gold card. I think that he meant like American gold card, like the Trump card, not looking to buy a Robinhood gold card. I don't think you have a gold card to sell me. Unless that would be interesting, right? If someone's citizenship was transferable and able to be sold on secondary markets, what would you guys sell your citizenship for? I wonder what the going rate would be. Do you think it would be higher or lower than $5 million? I think it would be much, much, much lower. Not that it's not worth it, but that there would be people who would be stuck in hard times. And like, I just think the liquidity of that type of product would allow the number to be closer to a couple $100,000, because to some people, that's just an endless amount of money. And that would allow them to start a new life somewhere else. 1 million, 2 million. Yeah, those seem acceptable. Like, you don't think that there's somebody, like, especially people who don't like the current administration, that wouldn't cash out for $1 million and leave? You know? So what would be the secondary market for citizenship? Where do you go when you lose citizenship? Yeah. Yeah. They just send you to an island. You actually, that's where that you go to Australia if that happens. That part you don't have to worry about, okay? America doesn't care. You got to pick north or south. You swap. Tanner, you are talking stupid nonsense. What are you saying? How cheap? Okay, I understand. I'm not saying everyone, but here's the thing about, obviously, a lot of people would never sell their citizenship. Okay, I'm completely aware there's a lot of patriotism, but there are people who, like, I don't know if you see college campuses from time to time. Not everyone is happy being an American. I'm not saying they're right, but you don't think that a young college kid would sell me their citizenship for less than $1 million? Come on now. I would pay around, I think I would definitely pay over 100 grand for sure. I'd probably pay like 500 grand to get in. That's probably where I'd see it. I don't know. I understand that you're very patriotic. Some people don't have the assets to get out if they want to get out. That being said, if I gave them 500 grand, maybe they would. Tanner is a proud American. I mean, I like America. Yeah. Yeah, like some sort of bail bondsman type thing where you're like, give people loans to. Do you guys also think that that's going to be a thing, that there will be loans for people who actually want to get the $5 million thing? Like, you have to show them, okay, you know what? I want to go to America. I'm starting a business. This is how I'm going to pay you back. This is the interest I'm going to give you. Because that could be very interesting. Like, I might even look into something like that later down the line, of like getting some sort of gold, or maybe the loan is even with America, getting some sort of way to finance my way into America. I've paid $150,000 for citizenship before. Would easily pay $5 million for U.S. citizenship if I had the money. How much money would you need to pay to sell your Canadian citizenship? Not a lot. I didn't mean to pull that one up. Visa sponsorship is way cheaper for companies to offer than a loan. I mean, that might be true, but what I mean is more along the lines of like a SoFi, like as an actual lending product that makes interest. A $5 million personal loan. But yeah, it's probably one way in. Snowbird it. I mean, that is the end goal. Or well, it's not the end goal, but that's in the cards for sure. Are there any tax benefits to being dual citizenship? From my understanding, it's actually quite the opposite. There's actually a lot of consequences to having dual citizenship. Yeah. Snowbirding inside of America. I've never heard of that. That's interesting. Tanner has started a new reality YouTube show in this channel, in this chat. Okay, tomorrow in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, we have MasterCard earnings, Ferrari, AbbVie, Roblox, S&P Global, CVS, Shell. I don't think I'm going live for that. There's not really anything. I'll quickly read MasterCard's things, but to stick around for 2 hours to listen to the call and get the numbers, I don't care that much about MasterCard. At the night or after the market is closed at 4 o'clock, I'm definitely going to be live for Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Cloudflare. What do I listen to? Amazon or Coinbase? It's got to be Amazon, but I'm going to be paying heavy attention to Coinbase as well. On Friday, we have got Chevron, ExxonMobil, Moderna, Colgate, Enbridge. It's a dividend-loving fantasy, okay? I won't be there. Love you guys. Not going to be there. Add to Robinhood, says Payush. Thank you so much, Payush. I do appreciate that. I will add Robinhood to the community fund. I'll make sure it happens. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. Core PCE tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Initial jobless claims 8:30. Cool. But I'm not going to be live for that. Tanner, too busy. No interest in the Figma IPO tomorrow? No. I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to take part. I don't really like IPOs in general. Yeah. I'm not in Coinbase, but it's going to have a great day tomorrow. I think so too. It's not going to be like the other quarters. I mean, like, look at Robinhood's overall crypto volume to get a sort of sense of that. But like it's not going to be the biggest quarter, but some of the new movements that they have, and they can talk a lot about where they are going in crypto that could spike the markets up just based on pure sentiment. The best month of the stock market history is coming to an end tomorrow. July is a strong month. August, a little bit different. Still can be good for many years. September especially, not usually the best month for markets. Yeah. Brother, you've been here a long time, but your interest in politics is insane. I just said, what are like? You got to tone it down with the all caps, man. I promise you, even to my greatest supporters, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. You don't want to listen? Peace. Go somewhere else. I didn't even pick a political side. I just said, how much would someone sell their citizenship for? I'm not creating a secondary market. Relax. Anyway, unless it's Databricks or Andrel, Not too interested in IPOs. I'd be really interested in Anduril as well. I think any company that's going to be playing big parts in, you know, drones or something like this, I don't want to, sorry, I want to play a big part in that, you know? Drones are very exciting. I also think that companies like NVIDIA and stuff are going to be having to create the data centers that set up these types of products. I think that that's pretty exciting as well. Can I get your insight about Applied Digital or Webull? Webull does not look like Webull does not look like Robinhood. If I had the money to put towards a company that I think will be the next stock for the next 10 years, maybe Webull will outperform Robinhood over a 3-month period, a 1-year period. But in terms of pure execution over a long period of time, I have a lot of belief in Webull in general, or in Robinhood in general. Vlad's the best. So I really do prefer to buy the winners and let the secondary players or the pickup turnaround names go past me. I think that's just how I like to play it. Energy fuels for the portfolio. This is a $2 billion name. I will add it, Grumpy Head. Thank you so much for the donation. We'll add $10 of energy fuels. By the way, guys, we will buy fractional shares as well. So you don't need to donate whatever the actual cost is. I see some people that try to match what the price of the stock is to their donation, like Payush donating $22.40. Absolutely, you do not have to do that at all. Tanner is secretly a Webull bull. I listened to Devin Ryan. I had him on my show, and he's very bullish on eToro, which is another one of these names that are like Robinhood, but don't have nearly the multiple. But they also don't have nearly the margin, nearly the growth, nearly the community. Like, I actually don't like it. Can you post the list of community stocks? Yes, it's in the description. You can see it in the link there. You'll see like view Tanner's community portfolio live or something like that. So you can see it. It's right in the description. You can see every single purchase that every single person has made, or like donation for the stocks that I'm purchasing, and then you can go to Savvy Trader and check out this. You can also follow it. I think there's about 50 of you or something that are following it live, and see all the different names that we end up putting in here. So most recently, we ended up purchased 250+% more shares of SoFi. That was Dookie Pie just coming in with an insane donation. Howard Lee with some Burke B. I'll absolutely buy some Berkshire. Sure. I don't mind buying that at all. You sure don't want me to buy some Burke A? I mean, while we're here, I'll just fill in the rest. I'm kidding. What do you mean the error link? Error link? Hold on. Hold on. You got me scared now. It should just be futureinvesting.pro/portfolio. It should lead you to a Notion page. I just did it. It just went. This is what it should take you to. It should look like this. And then you could see all the donations from everyone and the dates that people donated, and the stock prices and the amount of shares that ended up getting. And then whenever you go here, track the portfolio live, Sorry, it doesn't. I have to reshare my screen, but it just takes you to this. Hearing? But Howard, I absolutely will get that. For Oscar, glad you pieced out that dude. I think it was a lady, but yeah. I do appreciate the donation. I don't do $5 donations. This time, we'll do it this time. I'll do it this time, but not going forward. Just because there'll end up being way too many, and it actually takes me a long time to not only put them in the Notion and put them and actually like open up my brokerage and order it all the time. Like some days it takes me an hour. So yeah. Yeah, I did see those names, but we'll have to see. BitGo is probably it. Anchorage Digital or whatever, from what I could find, that the valuation seemed extremely high compared to what SoFi can maybe afford. It's not that SoFi isn't big, but you don't want them spending their entire market cap or their entire cash stack in order to try to buy some crypto company that might be at like 30 times price to sales. So I don't know. Okay, I'm getting significant news. Looks like the Robinhood, the next event is going to be quite exciting. I'm going to see if I'll be able to end up going to that if I have the dates free during that time. But yeah. Breaking news, what? Or were you saying breaking news because I was looking down at my phone? Holy NVIDIA still running? Let me open up really quick. This is the problem. Like, I like the look of Moomoo, but it's another reason why I don't use it. Is that there's no overnight market stuff. But if I go to NVIDIA in overnight markets, we're at 184.90. $184.90, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Meta, $777. Oh my. Guys, by the way, I fill this up every day before the live stream. I'm about to finish it. This is 42 ounces. Pure water, baby. We do a little sauna afterwards. So I'll talk about stocks here in a sec. And I know this is going to lose me viewers, but like this is really important to me. All the time people talk about compounding wealth over like an individual year. How much did you make this year to date, as a percentage? What percentage are you compounding each individual year? But not many people talk nearly enough about the amount of years that you're compounding. Take care of your health. Exercise if you're able to. Try to drink as much water as you can, or at least up to a limit that maybe your body should have. Don't listen to any of this 8 cups a day garbage. I mean, your body actually needs a lot more than that. But just do a little bit of research into it. You are a person who is hyper, like if you're a great investor, you usually have the tendencies that lead you to be hyper good at understanding delayed gratification. Not everyone has these abilities to be so patient and to expect a reward so much further down the line. Okay. I'm pretty sensitive to topics around health. I don't think my mom was the healthiest person in the world, and who knows, like she's passed away, and she passed away whenever I was young. Coming up on 10 years now, but still, I think I was 19 at the time. But if health was a much more important part of you know, my childhood, that would have been a more exciting thing. And I obviously am investing for my family and the benefits that that's going to carry for my children, maybe my grandchildren, if I'm good enough at this, you know. But my health is going to be one of the greatest parts of where those investments actually lead me. If I'm able to, my mom passed away when she was 53. That's a young life, you know. If I was able to compound, hopefully I have a longer life than 53. We'll knock on wood. But further than 53, 73, 93. These are big differences, not just in our ability to invest, but also take in this life experience. Meet friends, meet lovers, do things that our bodies are able to do. Like, whenever people are truly healthy, they don't think about having no back pain. You only feel back pain whenever you have it. You don't really think about it whenever you don't. Working out, taking care of your body, trying to take in the right diet. Not just on the times whenever things are easy and whenever the only thing around you is a salad. Eating a salad is not that, I think, hard to do. Okay, when you're hungry, you'll eat a salad. The hard part is going to a birthday party or some sort of event when everyone else is having cake and deciding that you're going to skip that today. That's extremely rewarding. Yeah, like some people do this and you have to sort of sit back and realize that those are hard things to do. It's hard to say no when everyone else is saying yes. And as investors, like I just think like we have that mindset already. Let's take that into other forms of other forms of what we do. So I really am a big believer of health is wealth, not just in terms of compounding our portfolios, but making the most out of what this, game is. So I'm literally listening to you on the treadmill. Awesome, man. That's freaking amazing. Right after this, I'm going to try to do just a little bit of a calisthenics workout and then hit the sauna. Yeah. Eggs are often overlooked superfood. I'm a big egg guy. Well, I eat a lot of eggs. I actually don't like eggs all that much, but I do eat them for sure. Have kids, man. I mean, it's on the goal, or it is the goal. Infrared sauna, no. I actually have steam sauna, rocks, the whole heated thing. Little cup of water over the thing. I like a high humidity sauna. So I've done both infrared saunas and steam saunas, and I find I very much prefer a steam sauna. The temperature can get much, much higher. Yeah, I just prefer that. Holding a kettlebell right now? Well, you got one way of typing and holding a kettlebell at the same time. That's got to be a strength. How much are they? It depends on the type of sauna and how many people you want to put into them, but a few grand for sure. You're probably looking at like $4,000, and then if you want like a really good one, like $10,000. But if you're just looking for like a 2-person sauna, like what I have, I don't know, $4 to $6 grand for something nice. Cold plunge. I don't have a cold plunge yet. I need to get one, but I do cold showers. That's my thing. Yeah, anyway, I'm done with the health stuff. This is not a health channel. I know that that's not everyone's forte, but I think they honestly go together like peanut butter and jelly, which don't eat peanut butter and jelly. But yeah. You don't need a cold plunge. You live in Toronto. Well, I mean, yeah, for the most part. For a large part of the year, I don't need a cold plunge, but Right now, it's feeling like I do. Um, what kind of foods do you eat? Honestly, I'm high protein. I try not to consume much, if any, wheat or sugars if I can. And by sugars, I mean bad sugars, white sugar. Um, I do eat fruit, um, vegetables if I can, a lot of meat if I can, chicken, beef, steak, stuff like this. But I still take in rice and potatoes. Like I'm not anti-starch. I'm just anti-wheat right now. But I eat my fair share of carbs. Um, don't become 65 and have trouble walking, not being able to enjoy the money. Well, that's honestly what yeah. I want to have a long road ahead of me. And I honestly think in a world of artificial intelligence, I think health and our minds are going to be the things that we actually truly do have. If humanoid robots and all these things have large impacts on, how much money we have or something like this, um, that health is going to be a superpower. I don't stretch enough, that's for sure. Tanner went from streaming for 30 minutes to over 2 hours. Yeah, you'll literally see the turning point was whenever Chris Patel called me lazy. He said that I need to stream more and that this is my job. So I was just like, all right, I'll just double the hours. Good posture while sitting. The chair doesn't go any higher. All right. I'm sitting straight up. Um, I got to do yoga. You know what's funny is there wasn't a whole lot of guys in the class, but I was doing hot yoga for a little bit. Some people old school in the live streams will remember, but um, yeah, I try a little bit of everything. And honestly, I liked it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Way harder than you'd give it credit for. Wheat is a terrible protein. Yeah. Yeah. um let's see here. Chris hasn't streamed lately. Yeah, but he's got a full-time job. This is it for me. Health is key. I agree. I agree. We don't talk about it enough. I actually thought about making like um a weekly video and then let the people who are interested in that type of thing come in and watch that about things like diet and exercise and stuff like this. Go through my gym routines, stuff like this, but um I don't know. I don't know. Anytime I've tried to branch off into other content, YouTube seems to reel me back in, but supplements, I take a stack. No, not really. I don't even take creatine. I take a protein powder, like an isolate, and then I've got so I take a multivitamin, a B complex, omega-3, and vitamin D, and magnesium or something like this if I feel like I've hurt myself at the gym. Future fitness. I was also really into running, and I wanted to make some content on that. But yeah, Yeah, a little bit. I have them right here. Just stuff like this. I'm not too into health where I'm like, oh, you can't buy Jameson. You have to buy this organic brand that I get from my neighbor. Like, I'm not really into that sort of thing. I'm just trying to do the 90% or the 95% and let the some of the health nuts, they can fill in the rest, but I don't have the time. Don't do the trend. Yeah, I'm not looking to do I did both. Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm not looking to to trend. For those that don't know, that's a like genuine steroid. Yeah, I'm sure I have those, but that's just because those were the ones that were on sale as well, depending on the brand that I have. When Hood into the S&P 500? Thank you. When Hood into the S&P 500? Let's hope September. Let's hope they kick out some of the companies that shouldn't even be in there in the first place and then put them in. If that isn't what is to happen, I think that they really do not want brokerages in, because the fact that IBKR and Robinhood is not in really would genuinely surprise me. But SoFi could honestly get in earlier than Robinhood. It is a real possibility. Hood into the S&P 500 after the Vegas live event? Could be. Could be. Hearing good things about creatine. Creatine's good for the brain. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of studies on creatine being good for your brain, especially whenever you're sleep deprived, which I am almost never. Like, I know Amit makes jokes about my sleep, but I take my sleep very seriously. I will sleep in past market open if I have to, if I went to bed too late, because truly I won't function without it. So I get like 8.5 hours a day and very, very high sleep score every night. I really don't get under like a 90 score. I have neither an 8 sleep or a sleep number. I hate, you know what? I would love an 8 sleep. Why is a bed charging me a subscription? Like, I just hate subscriptions so much. It just drives me nuts. So I want an 8 sleep, but I'm not spending $4,000 to then spend like $30 a month. So then this thing can tell me that I'm breathing. I'll wear a watch, and the watch also, I'm not picking a Fitbit or an Oura Ring or any of these other ones that are charging me a subscription. I'll just get the Samsung watch that has no subscription. Yeah, it is a subscription for a bed. It's ridiculous. Now, the product's unbelievably cool. And by the way, it's not a bed. It's a bed cover. It's a bed sheet. But you can also heat and cool it, which is super nice. Now, I'm not doing Whoop. I would love a Whoop. Okay, great product. But Samsung's going to get those products anyways and offer them to me for free in 2 generations. I hate the drip so much. I just think it's like, if you're fiscally responsible, it's anti-fiscally responsible. Okay, I cannot bring my brain to do it. I hate Netflix. I hate all the drips. I hate them all. But you understand why I love Robinhood Gold and SoFi Plus. It's because you make money. Money. Okay? If I choose to spend $5 a month at Robinhood Gold, it's exclusively because I'm not just making more than $5 a month off of it, but that I'm making more than the difference of being at SoFi Plus. That's actually where I think the important part is. No, Nick, I love you. You did nothing wrong. But it is important that people realize that if you're going to spend $5 a month on Robinhood Gold, that it's the difference between what SoFi Plus or another subscription that is cheaper will offer you. ROI addict. I really am. But then I'll spend frivolously on things like food because I hate cooking. That's the problem. I spend way more than if I got all those subscriptions on just my Uber Eats bill. So, yeah. Robinhood plans to host their second annual Robinhood Summit for active traders in Las Vegas in just a few weeks after the Q2 2025. What? Is this new information on when? I thought the date of it was already posted. I thought it was already posted. Also, I liked it a lot whenever it was in Miami. By the way, I've been to a few of these events, even with people like with Evan, sips of $5. Yeah, I had Starbucks the other day. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a personal finance like nerd. Okay, I'm wearing a Lululemon t-shirt right now. I could have bought one. Like, I'm not doing the whole like everything is the. I just hate drip. Hate drip. I like dripping my money into investments, DCAing. But yeah. Where in Toronto are you from? I'm going to keep a little bit of privacy for myself, but the other day someone asked like what my contacts or like what my prescription for my glasses were. Let me have a little bit of privacy, guys. I'm just going to keep where I live to myself and how bad my vision is. Sudbury. Where in Toronto do you live? I live in Sudbury. That's funny. Someone tell Vlad to sponsor the Indy 500 and run an S&P 500 marketing campaign. What's your shoe size? We can see those lenses. You honestly, I think if I were to turn my head, you honestly can see one glass or one side is worse than the other, I think. And no, I don't want LASIK. I think that's I don't know. I've heard horror stories. I get scared. I'm fine with what I'm doing right now. I don't need to change it. LASIK will make you night blind. Ooh, I've never heard that. Like you lose your ability to see at night? Is this a conspiracy or people really believe it? 20 years later, your retinas will detach. Gary is spitting bullish LASIK comments in the chat right now. I've been like, I'm not going to do LASIK, but like, I think he might be shorting it. Meta glasses, I will do meta glasses. Dry eyes from LASIK. Man, you guys hate LASIK. Are you near or far? I think I'm both. Keep them talking, boys. Tanner could see the earnings before they were posted. Makes the lights brighter. It's hard to do tiers. Man, I didn't realize that. Is anyone going to stick up for LASIK in here? Headlights will blind you. He blind. Okay, that's not even about LASIK. You're just talking trash. Also, Cactus Jack is in chat. I didn't realize that Cactus Jack is a superhuman. So if Amit trusts you to mod in chat, I'm going to mod you in chat. If this is the same Cactus Jack, I assume it is. Unless I'm just going to give superpowers to just a random guy in chat. Okay. Same one. Good. You're blue again. As the channel has gotten bigger, I have not modded as many people as I need to keep up with the growing audience. So I need more blue in this chat. I'll take submissions or auditions. We should honestly do, like, that's what I need to get into, is just a little bit of more enjoyable content as well. Especially, I want a wrench. Willy Wonka, you get a wrench. For sure, you get a wrench. There you go. Application approved. But I should have people come on to the channel, like video-wise, and tell me their 3 favorite stocks, and then we'll decide on if they deserve a mod based on that. Yeah, no, I'd love to mod. My biggest positions are, well, I don't want to pick on too many names, but like Open Door came to mind. And SoFi new and Grab. I mean, that dude loves digitizing fintech and taking over the world. His favorite fintech in North America, his favorite fintech in South America, and then all the way over in Asia. You need one for Europe as well, and then another African fintech as well. Maybe Time Group, but you kind of get a little bit of exposure of that through Nubank. So maybe you're good. Grinder, SoFi, McDonald's. Sounds like your 3 activities for the day. Go on a date, pay for the date. Go get your date, make sure you have money, go get some food. Mod me. Hood, NVIDIA, Meta. I mean, that's an investor. I might mod you, Commando. That's an investor. By the way, guys, Kelson Woods here, I'm pretty sure, is 17 years old. This guy's 3 SoFi, NVIDIA, Nubank. NVIDIA. You're 17 years old and you see it. You get it. It's crazy. Paul, with the Apple before earnings donation, Paul, I'll make it happen. Thank you, brother. Rach says, Hood, Microsoft, Grab. You're overweight on NVIDIA? I know, but we keep it going. Google, Amazon, UNH. That's a powerful 3rd place. Fan of Google and Apple or Google and Amazon for sure. UNH, it's not that I'm anti-UNH. I know nothing about it, but I do know that that's quite the hot button trade right now. Palantir, Hood, NVIDIA. Crazy. Tanner, when do you think it's good to take profits, especially on the run-up with NVIDIA? Rach, I don't know specifically, your age, what you need the money for, what you potentially are going to invest in with it next. Are you taking money to have a cash position? Are you taking money to invest in something else? There's so many reasons to just take profit. If you just are saying that you think it's the top for NVIDIA, I don't think it's the top. So I'm not taking profits because I think that there's more to go. But potentially, if I see an opportunity, especially, I have made it pretty well known that, like, if Tesla ends up finding a valuation that I think is appropriate, whether that is through the stock price selling off or the multiple going down based on great earnings, I'll rotate back into Tesla to some degree, but I need to see that happen. Yeah. Or if there's another name that I could potentially see, maybe SoFi. Did anyone find the JMP event for SoFi, by the way? If there is, this is my last request for the night. If there is a JMP fireside chat with SoFi tomorrow, please DM me on X. I'd love to stream that for everyone. But I can't find it on their website. I'm going to have to go through JMP's. I'll do that tonight, but yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have turned a $30 a 30-minute stream into a 2.5-hour stream. This is what this community makes me do. I love talking with you guys. I love the questions. I love the diversity of the investors, of the people that show up, the political commentator breakdowns that happen midstream. It's all fun for me. Don't leave the Sonic and wait. Uzi, I thought I saw you earlier. You've been here. You're goofing me. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. If you want more, subscribe down below. But bye for now.